Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Vocal Code Conversations. I have with me the most amazing guest. And before I introduce her, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Sharleen, the Vocal Alchemist. And if you are on the socials, I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook, Sharleen, the Vocal Alchemist. If you are on YouTube, now is the time to click subscribe. Click the bell so that you get notifications when I post new stuff. And I'm having a series of conversations like these with people that I really admire, people that are doing amazing things in the world of business and in the world of public speaking and in the world of music. And what I help public speakers and singers and signed artists to do is to really train their voices so that they have stamina and the confidence, and to train public speakers so that you have the authenticity and the complete magnetism and the confidence to really create your vision using your voice. As a vocal alchemist, I am attuned and gifted to hear the energetic frequencies of your speaking and singing voices. And that tells me everything that I need to know in terms of your characteristics and your belief systems. It's a really interesting thing to be able to hear. And from there, I can help you align your belief systems and align your character to help you create that beautiful vision that you want. Today, I am talking to the most amazing Michelle Raymond. Welcome, my darling.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Michelle is a force by herself. She is a GDPR specialist. She is a HR and business consultant. She is an award-winning speaker, and she's one of the most consistent people that I know. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So thank you for being here. And what I really want to talk about is, because people see you on Facebook, and like I said, you're so consistent and you are very focused on taking action. And I also see you doing what I call the back end, which is aligning yourself with the beliefs and with the characteristics. Because without the beliefs, without the back end, the front end just does not happen.
No.
And what I want to know is, I want to know your journey in regards to using your voice, because one thing I didn't say to you guys is that Michelle and I have also sung together.
Yes, yes.
At least one gig that I can remember, but maybe there's been more, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is the journey of using your voice, whether you're speaking or singing, to create your vision.
The journey of using my voice. So for me, when I was younger, I was told that I speak too much. I talk too much. I've always got something to say. I'm always answering back. I need to calm down. So there was a period of time where I thought, okay, for me to do the right thing, I should speak less, I should talk less. Then I had a personal issue that happened with my ex-husband, and that, coupled with what I've been always told, shut me down completely. So I didn't do any singing, I didn't do any speaking. And when I got to that realization that I had to live again, and part of my living was using my God-given ability to speak to others, it changed the game. It changed the game for me. And that's when I thought, no, I need to come out. I need to stand up and stand out. And that's why I use my voice in singing, use my voice in speaking. I'm writing a book. I'm actually going to record the book and get it translated, because once again, I know there's power in my voice. So I need to use the voice to do other things I want to do. So that is, in short, the journey behind, I would say, for me, why it's important for me to vocalize how I feel. It's important for me to vocalize to help and inspire other people. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And what I want to really know is, you've had a series of experiences, including, I'm assuming, in your formative years also, where you've been told to keep quiet, and also a significant event that happened with your ex-husband.
Yeah.
What was the decision, and how did you make the decision not to believe the conditioning, not to believe the environment that you were in your marriage, to use your voice when everything was telling you not to?
I would say my trigger for change was I was in church, and because I felt like I was partly responsible for what was happening in my life, and I always say that we all have to take ownership of what happens. So I took ownership, and because I was taking ownership, I almost was blaming myself, which kept me small. And I was in church, and the pastor at the time said that we must be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Now, this is something I've heard so many times before, and if it was another situation, it would have gone over my head, like most things probably do. But that particular time, my heart was ready to listen. So when he said it, and all I remember him saying, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then I heard something which was direct to me is, Michelle, you are not to blame. You are not to blame, and you cannot be held responsible for somebody else's actions. You cannot be responsible for somebody else's actions. That changed the game for me. And it was that mindset shift that said to me and reminded me of who I am and what I was called to do. And since that, my purpose has been strong. My purpose has been unwavering. And I've now tried to build on that with more prayer, more faith, and then then translating it to the world so that the world can understand what my mission, what my purpose on earth is to do. So I think that changed that, and I remember it so vividly in church. It was that trigger there that changed everything. And it was from there I went back into singing again. I joined some agencies, and then I just started doing videos at home, small videos for my own purpose, just to get me back in the game again. Yeah, and I was back.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much, because what you're saying is the things that were informing your identity, you really, and this is the thing, and I'm speaking to those out there who are being mentored, you're being coached, and you want that life transformation, you want that moment when things start to change. What I really want to bring everyone's attention to is the simplicity of that Damascus moment, if you want to call it that. And the simplicity of it is because you actually listened. It didn't take years for you to hear the same things over and over again, for you to actually let it sink in. And this is the reason why my mentor, when she's teaching, you listen. Don't speak, just listen, because in the listening comes the transformation, because the transmission that is being given to you seeks into your DNA, it seeks into your body, and from there you can make the change that you need to. So I'm really happy that you were really ignited in that way. Listening to your voice and really listening to your voice, it's such a pleasure for me. And when I listen, the energetic frequencies that I described are called a vocal code, which is why I've called this vocal code conversations. And I did ask you before if I had the permission to read your vocal code. Did I ask you that?
Yeah,
I did. I have to ask permission. And what I love about your voice, you've got a really thick bottom end in your frequency. And it shows me, I wish I could show people what's in my head sometimes, because I see shapes and I see voices like a barcode sometimes. And you know, with barcodes, you get the really thin lines, white space, thick black lines, white space. In your vocal code, there's a massive layer of thick bottom end. And that represents an unwavering discipline and determination to be grounded in the truth of who you are. Bottom end usually signifies foundation. It signifies grounding. And some people have, well, most people that I speak to don't have a line that is that thick. And that just shows me how much of a decision that you've made, actually, to really be who you really are and to really be grounded in that. The other thing that I can hear in your voice, sorry,
I like what you said. You said there that you made a decision, and I think for me that's the nail, because I think everybody has choices. Yeah. And I made a decision that day in church that my life will never be the same again. And it was a choice, and it was a decision, and it was a well thought of decision at that moment. And then through the years, I've just built on it and rounded it and just built on the foundation. But what you said there was right. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, it's a trigger for change. I made a decision to choose that path. So yeah, I just wanted to say that you got that spot on.
100%. Another thing that I can hear in your voice, and I don't always hear vocal codes or see them as barcodes. I see shapes and I see images, and your voice, when I heard you speaking, especially at first, I can hear that it's almost like you move at a very quick pace mentally, and you sometimes it may translate into impatience, sometimes not, but the pace that you move, what it means is that you don't dwell on anything negative. Your voice is one of those voices that regenerates, because you're always regenerating, it's always new. And that will really serve you, because staying still, even staying still in the positive, doesn't serve, because the now moment, the present moment, always regenerates. So those are the two things that I've noticed about your voice so far.
Okay, good.
Is that for you?
No, I totally agree with it. And I think you're right about what you said about I move quickly. I do move quickly. If I make a decision, I run with it. And it works for me. And I know that where it's been an issue, because when I've had people around me who can't get my vision quickly, I get frustrated and I get like impatient. I'm currently producing some slides for a leadership program I'm doing, and I've got my husband helping me. And when I'm saying, no, why did you put that there? Do this. But he is the opposite of me. So he like slow paced. He wants me to talk slower. He needs to compute it. He needs to go over it in his mind first before he can produce any output. Well, I'm like, let's just do it. And although we're opposite, we do complement each other, because then sometimes in my haste, I make mistakes and he can foresee that. So I definitely believe, and it's about me now utilizing my speed of implementation to really nurturing that, so that I don't make as many mistakes as sometimes I tend to do. And just using it for the positive. So I think that is definitely spot on. And in terms of the negative, I've learnt, once again, I've had to make a decision not to dwell on the negatives, and to always look at it through, I now look at it through other people's map of the world and see what did they see when this moment happened, or how do they feel, or what was shaping their experiences and their beliefs, why they would look at it from that perspective. And that way, then I don't get my back up with people. So I don't tend to put out negative connotations and quotes on social media about people or a group of people, because I always think for them to feel that certain way, it's shaped by whatever experiences they've had or a friend's experience that they've taken on themselves. And that's why they've reacted that way. So we don't have time for all that negativity because everyone's got their issue.
Yeah, 100%. And people are sovereign, so they get to choose. They're making their decisions too. So if they want to be negative, that's okay. Yeah. I always say, you know, when it comes to social media, you can always unfollow.
Always.
It's a wonderful thing. You can choose too. So what I would love to know also, because you said that you started off singing and doing videos just for yourself. Because one thing I didn't say to you, audience, is that this lady here is a TEDx speaker. Come on! And people talk about their journey in terms of the highlights and the accolades. I want to know all the stuff in between, you know, because there's a journey. You don't just wake up one day, you're a TEDx speaker. So you went from singing to doing videos at home. What was the journey from deciding that you wanted to do public speaking in the first place and onward from that?
Do you know what? I can't actually remember the defined moment, but I noticed that some of the videos I was doing, I will show them to a couple of people and they think, oh, Michelle, that's so good. I was really, do you think so? And it was that type of thing. So I thought, okay. And this is when videos started to get in more pace. So I thought I'll do a couple of videos. And at the very first, I was into the whole vanity metrics. And I was like, oh my God, nobody hasn't liked it. Nobody hasn't seen it. And I was about that life. But then I thought, you know what, Michelle, there's so many people that don't comment, but they're watching you. And I was getting private messages from these people. I'm thinking, who the hell are you? Yeah. Saying, Michelle, you don't understand how what you said last week that triggered something in me. You don't realize. Even down to yesterday, someone said to me, which brought so much tears to my eyes, that she shared with me this, I don't know, it was from a story, a fable, I don't know. And she tweaked it to apply to me. And she said, what you don't realize, Michelle, you have been my parachute for the last 12 months. And because you have been my parachute, I am ready to fly. And I was like, oh my God, this is someone who doesn't regularly comment on my stuff. But she said, I sit quietly and I've been watching you. And somebody said, Michelle, I want to work with you because not only do you talk about the good, you show the struggle. So when I did my TEDx talk, I talked about, this is also on my list to do. And it was one of those things that I think every public speaker should do one significant piece of talk. Yeah. And so for me, it was doing a TEDx talk. But what I did, I shared leading up to that because I had to share my personal story, which I, at the time, thought that I had dealt with, but things were coming up that I hadn't dealt with, and I had to speak to and, you know, get intervention before I did a TEDx talk because I thought it would cripple me. And so I got that intervention to help with my voice, my delivery, and dealing with the emotions behind it. And because of the whole stress of doing this TEDx talk, my back went the night before, or 2 nights before. So I was laying on my floor, sleeping on my floor 2 nights before. The same day as my TEDx, I had to change my clothing because my back was hurting me so much. So I wanted to wear heels. I couldn't wear heels. And I wore these really ugly kitten heels. I ended up wearing these ugly kitten heels because I couldn't walk. So what you didn't see on the TEDx is before I came onto stage, onto the red spot, they announced my name. And it took me, I don't know, about 3 minutes to walk from the side curtains to the red spot because I was taking pigeon steps. My whole body was in pain, immense pain. And I then delivered the talk and it was like adrenaline. As soon as I did it, I was walking around on the spot. I was animated. As soon as I finished and they, I don't think you saw it, but as soon as you finish, usually when people finish, they stand there so that people can clap. I couldn't even do that because as soon as I said my last word, the pain kicked back in and I had to come off that red spot. I went in the wings and I burst out crying. So And I shared that, just as I shared the greatness and the joyous occasion of delivering the TEDx, I showed them the raw emotions behind it. And I believe that why I feel that people resonate with me is because I share the good and the bad. And I've had people say to me, "Oh, Michelle, why did you tell them that? Why did you tell them? You don't need to tell them that." And I said, "No, I have to, because there's people who are undermining their own purpose and undermining their ability because they just see roses. They just see green grass. And I want people to know that where you see me now, you need to see there was struggle beforehand. There's rejection beforehand. There's people taking my ideas. There's people telling me that I'm this, I'm that, all behind the scenes. So you know there's a struggle before the strength. And that for me is the difference. So I like to tell the bigger picture. I want to tell the bigger picture, you know? It's not just all roses out here, but let people see it. Because people appreciate it as well, don't they? They appreciate it. Yeah.
It's so interesting to me because there's so many nuggets in what you've just said. And, you know, one of the first nuggets that you gave is that you moved past the vanity metrics.
Oh, yeah. I had to.
And this is so huge because with vanity metrics, it can support this sometimes egoic desire to be seen in a certain way. It can support this illusion that we want to kind of purport that we are successful. And the interesting thing is that when you do get the likes, it becomes less relevant because likes does not equal sales, firstly. It just means that people are engaging with your content. And it means that if people are engaging with your content, it's because you are engaged. That's the back end, by the way, viewers. But what I really enjoy is what I'm really hearing is that the reason why people resonate with you is because of the transparency and the authenticity. And these two things are very key when it comes to establishing your expertise, when it comes to really making yourself be available for people to, it's like this massive attraction point when people can see vulnerability. And I say it with singers and with public speakers, that when you allow yourself to be seen in all of your glory, all of it, you know, it means that people can see themselves in you. And when people can see themselves in you, that is when doors open, because opportunities and doors are opened or shut by people. They don't open and shut themselves. And that's when you have people wanting to work with you. And what's really interesting about what you said also is when you had someone DM you who had been following you for 12 months. Oh my God, like that just really solidifies in my mind that this is a long-term thing, you know, and that people are watching. And I get people commenting all the time on what it is that I'm doing that have never liked or commented on anything that I have done. So what I would like to know is, what is it that keeps you so grounded in consistency? Because it seems like it's who you are and not what you do. But what I want to know is, have you always been that way? Have you had to develop that? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So I'm from the school of camp. Habits over hustle. I don't like the word hustle. It's never really resonated with me. And because hustle is the hard work, you know, struggling. And I'm thinking, all right, so let me go back one. Let me just get a little bit deep. So this is just my belief. So as a Christian, I believe that Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. They disobeyed God. And because they disobeyed God, God said, I'm going to make you work. I'm going to make you slog. I'm going to make you toil the ground. So for me, I've interpreted that as the hard grind, the hustle, the toil is given to us as a punishment. Yeah. And because I see it like that, my thing is, I do believe we have to work hard. I do believe we have to put some effort in, but not at the expense of my health, not at the expense of my family. So what I've done is created better habits. And because of that, it's for me, it's habits over hustle all the time. Which means, so if, for example, I I don't have like lots of like systems in my business, but I have systems that work. And the systems that work is, for example, I'm delivering this training. I was given 2 weeks to put together this leadership program. So my habits then say to me, Michelle, all those books that you've been reading, download them, find your notes on it. And because I've been doing that consistently, it's not like I now have to read a new book and try and find it, because I've been in the habit of reading and taking notes, because I don't know when the opportunity will arise, when I'm going to need that. And my habits also tell me that if I've got a coaching call in the morning, I don't leave everything to the morning. I prepare the night before. So what I do is I go over our notes. I make sure that on our to-do list, I've done what bit I said that I'll support them with, and I've already checked in with them. So now we start afresh. So I'm not trying to scramble, I'm not trying to remember. We don't spend the whole hour going over all the things before. So it's all these little things. There's little things I do that create a better habit. So I'm not a great gym. I don't go to the gym. I've got a gym membership, but I don't always go to the gym. For me, that becomes hustle. But what I tend to do is, like, if I want to do squats, I know I can't always remember to do squats. So, you know, the habit I've done, and I've shared this so many times, every time I go to the loo, I do 10 squats. I do 10 squats before I sit down, and when I finish, I do 10. So effectively, because I'm already in the squatting position, I'm in the habit of doing my squats. So when Pete goes, how many squats have you done this morning? I can tell I've done 50. When do you have time to do 50? Because I'm in the habit of squatting when I go to the toilet. Do you see my point? It's a trivial point, but that's the best way I can describe it. And it's about, and because I'm in the habit of doing things, it becomes consistent. So many people have, and I say this again, so many people have the desire. Oh, I've got the desire to do this. Yeah, I want this, I want that. But they have no discipline. And I always say, people that work with me, be prepared. It's going to be disciplined. I'm not here to just say, oh, well done, you know, you've done great. Or, you know, they say, oh, Michelle, I haven't done this because of this. Life, everyone has life. Everybody has issues. But this is why you're still here. This is why you're still at that point, because you need someone to help you create disciplined habits. And I'm very good at disciplining. So if I say that for the next month, I'm going to do a video every day at 2 p.m. I will do a video every day at 2 p.m. because I've just got into that discipline. So it's less stressful for me. When people say, oh, Michelle, how do you do your videos? If I know sometimes I wake up and I can't be bothered. But the night before, when I was bothered, I did 5 videos. And I do 5. So when I can't be bothered the next day, I just upload one of my 5 videos. Because when I was in that progressive state, that's when I did loads of my videos. So it looks like I'm waking up fresh every morning to get on video, but my friend, that's been re-recorded when I was in that progressive state. Once again, it's habits over hustle every day.
Habits over hustle. I really enjoy that. One thing that I've kind of been playing with myself is I have my own habits which help me get into my body, right? I'm a feminine embodied woman, and what I find keeps me consistent is devotion. I really have fallen head over heels in love with what I do. And not only that, I have fallen head over heels in love with what it feels like to be embodied. And it's a very sometimes I'm so grateful I'm washing my dishes in tears. It's that.
That deep,
And
yeah.
it's a very, yeah, it's a very soft, full, contained feeling of love. And from there, I find that the habits become easier.
Yes.
And from there, the devotion creates the discipline,
Mm-hmm.
because who doesn't want to feel like they're in love? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to motivate you to want to do the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how, you know, you have systems in place so that when you are feeling a certain way, you know that this is the time to bang out the content, right? And it's so interesting, you know, when you say, you know, when people come to you and they say, oh, I haven't done the X, and you're like, well, this is why you're still here. It's so interesting because procrastination is such an illusion, because usually, especially in my experience, the thing that you need to do, the thing that you're procrastinating on, it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes 10 minutes to do a video. Seriously, it's not hard.
Mm.
And ego likes to conflate these things. It's going to take you a long time, la 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 la, and it creates these barriers to you
Yeah.
actually getting the thing done.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find that I am really embodied, these things, I love doing it. You know, I don't think I could ever have said that I
Mm-hmm.
like editing videos.
Mm-hmm.
It was drama before. It's like, really? But I enjoy doing it because I love what it is that I do.
Mm.
So what is it about using your voice, whether it's for speaking or whether it's for singing, that you love?
Mm. Do you know what I love? It's the transformation. That it's definitely the transformation. I got this revelation with one of my mentors, and he said to me, Michelle, once you move from ambition to assignment,
Mm.
this is what he said to me. Let me try and remember it. He said, Michelle, once you move from ambition to assignment, from career to your calling, what's the other one he said? Yeah. I can't remember. Assignment, ambition. There's another one. Yeah. And there's another one in there. But there was three, and those that has sat with me. And when you're thinking of self and thinking, oh my God, I haven't got nothing to share, this, that, and the other, oh, you know, oh, my voice sounds funny, or people's not going to listen to me. He said, you're still in the realm of ambition. When you move to assignment, you don't care how you feel or how you come across, because you know your assignment on earth is to share this word. And he goes, remember, you are the light. That's what he said. You are the light in a dark place. And I've had people speak that into my life. And that has kept me going. And when I have those moments where I think, oh, I can't be bothered, or I don't want to do it, I'm still hovering around the career. Oh, this is my career. And I have to shift the mindset and say, no, this is my calling. This is my destiny. This is my purpose. I am the light. I'm not the only light, but I am the light for my generation for this period of time. And I'm called to do this, Michelle. And I believe that wholeheartedly. When that dropped in my spirit, once again, into the game, it gets me up in the morning. Every Monday morning, I wake up at 5 o'clock. Every Monday morning since August the 1st, I've been waking up at 5 o'clock, and I just have time with God in his presence. And then at 6 o'clock, I have other people join me with prayer. And I do that. And sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh gosh, should I cancel it? But then, like last night, I went to bed so late. I went to bed after 2:30, and I had to wake up for 5. And before I went to bed, God reminded me, obedience is better than sacrifice. I woke up at 5, read my scriptures, I meditated, had devotion time by myself, me and God, then had the other people join me at 6. Those things remind me of what I'm here to do. And then it gives me the zeal. Then I don't feel tired, because afterwards I don't feel tired. after my little prayer, my devotion, I'm ready. I'm like, yes, I got things to do today. Today I have to be the light. I think, who do I need to be the light for some person? Who? Just one person. I'm not, everyone's got this thing, I'm here to change the world. I'm here to change one person's life, because I know if I impact somebody's life, they impact somebody else's, and then they impact somebody else's. So effectively, we all change the world. So my thing is, who do I need to be a light for today? That's it. Who do I need to be the light for today? And I'm just glad that, I am obedient. Sometimes I can be slightly disobedient, and I'm working on that. God is working on me. But I want to get in that habit of being obedient. So even when my flesh doesn't feel that, the spirit man is saying, your calling, your assignment is this. That's it. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah. It's so wonderful, it's so wonderful. Again, it comes back to identity when you said, I am the light. And when you are the light, there is no effort to shine. You just shine, and it comes out of who you already are. And what I always say to public speakers and to artists, recording artists, is that when people listen to you, they are listening to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And who you are transcends what you sound like. And what you sound like has the ability to draw people into you. There is a phenomenon, especially with singing, public speaking also, but I feel it's more dramatic when it's with singing, where you have the attitude of, or the embodied belief rather, of I am valuable, I am worthy, and when I sing, you will know that I am important, not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of deep knowing. What happens is you'll start singing to a crowded room who are talking, and everyone starts to be quiet. Because there's an energy. And whenever you are on stage, if you are speaking and singing, there is an energetic exchange that is happening between you and them. They are responding to you, and you are responding to them. And when you get up there and you are so aware of how magnetic you are, people stop talking and they are listening to you, because actually people want to listen. They want to feel you. They want to feel the little drops of excellence from you to them, because they want to transform. They want to leave a gig feeling like, oh my God, when I heard that song, I was transported to heaven. And that's the reason why I'm streaming it. That's the reason why I downloaded it. And when I hear Michelle speak, that's the reason why I watch her TEDx talk. That's the reason why I follow her, because of the way that I feel when I am around her. And that's the energy exchange. And obviously it goes beyond the stage. It's happening in this conversation here. It happens when you're on the tube. People are always responding to you. And it's so beautiful to me that you get to be the author of your own energy.
Yeah.
You really do. And so I'm really loving how you've just created all of these things for yourself. Let me ask you a question. What is your favorite thing that you have created to date?
Oh, my favorite thing. In what sense? What do you mean? In what
thing, opportunity, event?
The favorite thing I've created? Oh my God, that's hard. Oh, well, I would say, more recently, my online course. So the online course is called The Business of Speaking, which works with what we're talking about actually. And I'm so proud of that project. I put so much work into it, but I can see if people follow it, they'll get the results that they want. It's not a hype. It's not a hype like, oh, I'm going to help you get to be the world's greatest speaker or get paid all this amount of money. I take people back, and I say, and it's all about getting them to position themselves as an expert in their field, but to talk to the mind and talk to the heart of the event planner, not the audience. And we've been always led, we always talk about, our performance to the audience or what are the audience looking for. But I go one step before that and I say, what do the event planners and event organizers, what are they looking for? Are you speaking their language? Because they are the hirers. And then we work on your performance and your technique for the audience once you get in. So I take them back and get people to really resonate with their gift. What is your purpose? What do you like talking about? What do people ask you questions about? What can you answer freely and you love talking about? So we do a whole bit on that, because you have to really love what you do to be able to talk about it at length. So I think that's for me, it's one of my best creations in recent, and I think there's going to be more to come in 2020. I think there's going to be more. This leadership program that I'm working on now is the first for me, absolutely first, because I've never done leadership training. I've never been in that, and I'm very much which I've moved from that sphere of just working alone to working in teams. But because the nature of my job, even when I was working, I was the HR business partner. So I was always in charge. I've always been in charge, and I've always done things by myself. No one's ever had to delegate work to me. But this has opened my mind up in terms of working with a team, leading big teams, and really understanding the dynamics behind it. So it's really new to me, but exciting. And I know once I master this is going to be another project that I'm going to be really proud of. And then I can put that on my tick list. So I know there's going to be much more. But right now, I think in my business of speaking online calls, and because I've seen the wins, I've got people who said, Michelle, follow this step. And I had my first paid speaking engagement. I love been hearing it. Loving it.
Amazing. I love that. And, looking at your Facebook page and following you for all these years, you are definitely someone that I trust.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. That means a lot.
when it comes to getting results, I know that this is not frou-frou. And that's my made up word for it's not pie in the sky, airy fairy. This is grounded results, because you've gotten the results for yourself, and you can't teach what you don't know.
That is it. That is what I keep saying to people. I could never, not that I can never, but I wouldn't feel comfortable teaching people how to make 6-7 figures, because I would want to have achieved it myself. And not a fluke, like I had such a massive, great 6 months, and that's how I made my 6 figures, and I've never made it again afterwards. I'm talking about we're not talking about them flukes where you've got one massive contract. But I know that's what So and I'm totally a fan of walking the talk. And I've had contracts where I've said to them, you know what, I can do it, but I'll have to work on it because I haven't done it before. But otherwise, I can just pass you on to someone who's done it, who lives and breathes it. That's fine.
Yeah, awesome. So where can people find out about you on the socials?
Yes, I'm on all the social media platforms as Michelle Raymond, or the People's Partner. LinkedIn, I'm especially active on LinkedIn and Facebook, but I also use Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, you can find
your Instagram handle. I'm going to follow you.
Yeah, my Instagram is Michelle_Raymond1.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have heard it here. Go and follow Michelle. She's amazing. And thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. You are such a diamond to me, and I'm so happy that you said yes to having a conversation with me. I'm
Thank
going to
you so
stop the
much.
recording. Of course, I'm going to stop the recording, but stay on the line.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.